So in today's video, I'm going to run through how I'm doing mostly. We'll touch on the boys, but we're going to talk about me, my mental health, my body, postpartum, exercise, just general well-being and all those kind of things. So here we go. Hello guys. There's nothing better than that first sip of coffee, am I right? There is a reason that my hair is in this, I promise. Let's just get it out though. I'll tell you more about why in a little bit. But hi, how are we all? I think I need to alter this angle, to be honest. 1 second. Let's try this. Is that better? Hi guys, I'm sat on the floor because we just don't have any good locations to film in this house and there's just a mess everywhere all the time. I'm actually trying to think about getting a cleaner in, just as like a one-off, because I feel like I would just love the house to be cleaned all over. It would just make my soul happy. So yeah, but hi, welcome. I don't think I've done a video on this since I was about 2 months, maybe even 6 weeks postpartum, I can't remember, but I am now nearly 5 months. It's going to be 5 months in 5 days. I cannot believe that. I cannot believe the boys are like a month away from being half a year old. Like, what? Where did the time go? It is so true, that quote they say. The days are long, but the years are short. I am now starting to understand why so many mums say that. And it's frightening actually, because even though each day is like, oh my God, the same thing and so tiring and so long sometimes, I can't believe I've been doing this for 5 months. Like, it does not feel that long at all. So very, very true. And actually my mum posted something on my Facebook wall just the day before yesterday, and now I've been saying that. Let me just read you a couple of lines from this, because I actually cried reading it and I think mum did too, but it's just so true. Here we go. When you first have children, they talk about the challenges of parenting, the struggles of a baby walking in the night, the toddler who won't stay in their bed, the cost of childcare, injuries from sports. And then it goes on to say about like all the good things. You watch their eyes light up on Christmas morning and try to soak in the magic of those moments. You coach them in sports, rush to practices and ball games, tote them all over the country, let them do what they love, and no matter how exhausting or expensive it becomes. You go into it thinking that 18 to 20 years sounds like a long time, and then suddenly hours turn into days, days into months, and months into years, and that little person that used to crawl up next to you in bed suddenly becomes a young adult. And oh my God, this is already hitting home, and I'm only 5 months in. So I am really trying to soak up every minute, but it's so hard, isn't it? It really is. When, I mean, this morning has been hell, I'm not gonna lie. No idea what's wrong with them. I've just tried to put them down for a nap and there's been screaming murder for like 15 minutes. And I just walked past the door and I heard this and thought they were asleep. So God knows, but half the time I think they're just tired, and I don't know, this morning Henry is like so red in the face. I think he's starting to teeth, so no idea where we go with that. But yeah, anyway, I've been blabbing already for 4 minutes and I'm not getting anywhere to what I wanted to be talking about. So hi. Today we're talking about postpartum and how everything's going. So the boys are 5 months. They're doing great. A quick note on them, they're doing fine. They're feeding well, they're sleeping well, they're growing, they're hitting all the milestones, everything is fine. Just normal baby things. I would say one thing that I have learned is, like, when you look back at the months that you've had with your newborn baby, you feel like, wow, you have learned so much. Like, I feel like I've learned so much and I'm still learning every day, and you forget so much. When I look back at like when they were 2 months old in pictures in my phone, I'm like, oh my God, I remember those moments when I was like struggling with this or struggling with that, and it's just such a small phase and it just goes. So if you're watching this and you're struggling right now, or you're soon to have a newborn and you're like feeling overwhelmed, just know that whatever it is, it passes so quick. So don't stress too much about it. Like, I spend most evenings thinking, why are they crying? Why have they been crying? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? Would this have made that better? And at the end of the day, they're babies and they cry, and you can only do your best. So don't freak out about it. I mean, I'm a fine one to talk because I drive Alid nuts. Every evening he's like, I just can't talk about this anymore. He's like, you're doing fine, leave it. Sometimes you've got to let them cry. And I go back and forth, like, maybe if I'd let them nap more, or done this with them or done that with them, they'd have gone down sooner. So yeah, It's crazy, but I am looking forward to them growing up as much as I'm not looking forward to them growing up. It's hard to enjoy it all, that's for sure. Going on to me, this is why I made this video after all, and I'm just talking about them. So let me have a sip of coffee. I actually used a different milk in my coffee today, and I swear I could have actually made latte art. When I got to the end, it like went in a perfect blob, and I was like, I should have tried to make a heart or something, but it never normally works, so I never bother. I have to enjoy these little things while they're sleeping, because I can't even manage to drink coffee when they're awake at the moment. So yeah, going on to me, it has been a roller coaster these past 5 months. Looking back now, I kind of laugh, because when I first came out of hospital, I'd say the first 6 weeks I was just still like thinking about myself and my recovery all the time. And the boys, even though they were hard work and they were newborns, they slept so much of the time. So I honestly just was like focusing on myself getting better, wondering when I could walk the dog again, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I've got black on my face or something, but I haven't. And then bam, I guess like when they hit like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, they became so much more of a challenge, and the focus on me like completely disappeared, and I just put myself at the bottom of the list. So it was the boys, the dog, Aled, and then me. And I look back now and I'm like, oh my god, I was so selfish before having them. Like my days just revolved around what I was going to do, which of course, like I didn't have children to look after, so that makes sense. But oh, how I'd wish for a day like that again. So yeah, I'll be honest, I got to 6 weeks, and that's normally I think when they sign you off to do exercise and things like that, and it was like my main priority, like can I get out and walk again, can I exercise again? Little did I know what was around the corner, and that I was not going to have time to do anything like that. Shout out to any mums that managed to fit in exercise so early on, because I did not have the time. So yeah, I think at 6 to 8 weeks I started trying to say to Aled that I was going to go jogging and I was going to do some weights, and I may have even tried to do like a couple of sessions here and there and gone on long walks, and I was still in pain. It was definitely way too early for me and my recovery, so I just took a step back. And plus then I got sidetracked because the boys became much harder work. To be honest, I totally forgot about it. There was just so much else going on, I didn't even think about it. But the last couple of weeks, now 4.5 months, 5 months in, yeah, it's been right back at the top of my priorities. I was like, Aled, I need to put in some exercise, like I have to make time, even if it means doing it in the evening, which I hate. I'm such a morning person for exercise. But this week, it's Thursday today, I have managed to do something every day other than yesterday because I needed a rest day. So I've done 3 days out of the 4. I'm very pleased with myself. And yeah, I feel exhausted, so my fitness level has gone way down, way down. I went for a jog around the block, and that was actually much more successful than actually lifting weights, which was surprising because that's what I was doing more of before I fell pregnant. But I guess you lose muscle so quickly, and going for a run is just you know, I didn't lose the ability to run. So anyway, that's that, and I'm putting myself kind of back as a priority now. I feel like I've gotten a little bit of a structure with the boys, and I know that they need to nap at this time and that time, and I can find a little bit of time for myself. I won't lie, it's not what I would like to be doing in my time off, but it's important and health comes first, so we're making that a priority. But going way back, going back to before I was pregnant, I don't think I've ever been like fully confident with the way I look, and I've never been really into sports. I never was like one of those people growing up that was really into something and played something religiously. I don't really think I did anything. I loved swimming in the summer on holiday and things like that, but I was never like into a particular sport. So yeah, fitness has never been that much of a thing until about 2 or 3 years ago, when I started working out and found that it just so helped my mental health. And I got not addicted, but I did make it like I would go at least 5 or 6 times a week without fail. And especially living in Los Angeles, it was so motivating because the weather was always nice. So yeah, I would say 2019 I was in the best shape that I've ever felt I was in, and I felt really good and I loved working out. I actually found that it was something I loved doing, and I loved going to the gym, which I know a lot of people don't, but also a lot of people do, and that was for me what I just loved doing, and going for the odd run outside here and there, but I just genuinely enjoyed weightlifting. So when I fell pregnant, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna gain loads of weight and I'm gonna get so out of shape, and oh, I've just worked so hard for 2 years to get like this. And first of all, I was so focused on that, and then I would say 3 or 4 months into being pregnant, I just totally just didn't care. I was in pain anyway to walk, so I wasn't working out at all, and yes, I probably lost all my muscle mass, but I've got 2 babies and there was no way I could exercise. Again, shout out to mums that exercise until they give birth. I don't know how they do it, because there was no way that I was able to do that. And I did attempt up until like mid-April, which was about 5 months pregnant. So I gave it my best shot, but no, it was not possible. But I was going to put some pictures in here just to show you. I was like, I mean, I don't want to do this, but I know people love to see this kind of thing. So I'm going to stick up here how I looked before I got pregnant, and then how I looked at 38 weeks pregnant. I think this was the day before I went in for surgery. So there you go, bang. I was big. I don't even remember feeling that big. I remember thinking like, I've got twins and I'm not that big. Well, I was big, so we'll just leave it there. Yeah, I can't believe it when I look back at those. I don't know, it's a huge change, a momentous change in a woman's life, and you have to adapt to it because there's no going back, right? You're gonna have a lot of extra skin, you're gonna have a lot of muscle wastage, you're gonna have all sorts of things going on. So you just kind of got to come to terms with that and then tackle it when you can, which is what I'm trying to do. So yeah, the point I'm trying to make here is my main focus was me back then, and even though I want to get back to being healthy and exercising more, it's not my main focus, and they are my main focus. So if I can put in the time to do it, I'm going to try my best, but if I can't, then they have to come first. So I don't want to make myself sick, busting a gut trying to exercise if I'm not putting 100% into them. It will come when it comes, basically. Another reason that exercise has been a bit on the back burner for me is because I've been breastfeeding up until now. I'm still currently breastfeeding, and I am slowly starting to think about shifting them onto formula, just for my mental health and for a bit more extra time for me, and a lot of reasons. But I have read that they say exercising can decrease your milk supply if you're not eating correctly and trying to, not that I would be trying to lose weight, but if I was trying to gain a bit more muscle mass, I didn't want to jeopardize anything like that for them. So I just felt like once I reached the 6-month mark would be the best time to introduce exercise again, and really focusing on my diet instead of theirs. So going on to postpartum and mental health, this has been a huge topic for me because we're going through this pandemic. So I don't know if a lot of my feelings are to do with the pandemic or having had the boys, and it's probably a bit of both, but it has not been easy, I'll be honest. The beginning was, I was kind of geared up for it. People were telling me about baby blues and how hard it is the first 2 to 6 weeks, and I would say that I had a couple of weekends there right at the beginning which hit me hard, and it was normally when there was something going on at home that I couldn't attend, or something that I felt like I was missing out on. I just felt very low, but it was a very short-lived thing and it would pass within a day or two. But last month, I guess since after Christmas, wow, it's been a whole another level of like ups and downs, and I think that is partly due to the pandemic. It's really hit us hard that we haven't been able to share any of this time with our family, and the time is just flying past, and it doesn't look like we will be able to anytime soon either. So that has been really hard. Then there's me and Alid. We have not spent some time together since I cannot remember when, because before we had the boys we were in lockdown. So I think it's probably been a year since we've been out together and like had dinner or been on a date. I mean, I can't even remember. It must have been February last year that we did that. when we were living in Queen Anne in Seattle. We went out for dinner, but I was pregnant. I knew I was pregnant, so I was going to bed at like 8 p.m. when I was pregnant. I was so exhausted. So again, they weren't really the date nights that we were used to, and we do love going out for some food and drinks, and we really miss that. And there's no chance of that anytime soon, because there's no way I'm getting a babysitter for young boys, and of course there's nowhere to go out right now because nothing's open here. So it's hard. That's really hard, and we are trying to be creative and make date nights in the evenings. Now the boys are kind of settling earlier and going down at 7, so we have a bit of evenings to ourselves. But it's just, everyone's feeling it. It's not the same in the house, and we just want to get out. So yeah, that's not helping either. And yeah, I have really struggled with not having any time for myself, and I have had to ask Aled and take a step back and being like, can you find any time in your day, even if it's an hour here and there, just to have the boys and let me have a moment, because he's working from home and I feel like I'm juggling their noise, he needs silence for calls, and just trying to walk the dog when they nap, trying to clean the house when they nap. And it's like, when do I fit into the rhythm of the day? When do I do something that I actually want to do? And that's been hard, going from having all the time every day for myself to having literally no time. And don't get me wrong, we could get help, but it comes at a cost, right? And we just, especially me, I don't want to pay for that when I know I could be doing it, but it has got to a point now where I need some time, and whether that be paying for a cleaner or doing a bit more with the boys when he can, even just an hour, like I said, is really helping. So he gave me my first lie-in the other morning. I get up to feed them like 6:30, 7, and I went back to bed, and it was a dream. Of course I didn't go back to sleep because I could hear them, and it takes me like half an hour to get to sleep anyway, so I only had like an hour. But I really enjoyed just lying there in bed, and he's going to make it a weekend thing, so hopefully once a week I'm going to have that luxury back, which I'm very excited for. One of the other things that has hit me postpartum that I never had before is anxiety. I never ever have been an anxious person. Literally one of the more chilled people that you would meet. Like, Aled used to suffer from anxiety, or still does, and I never understood it. I used to try and be like respectful, but I'd be like, I just don't get it. Like, don't get what's causing you to feel any sort of feelings. And mine aren't like, it won't just come on, like I won't just be sitting there and I'll feel anxious. It's more like definitely from having the boys. And my mum said, Aled said a lack of sleep can cause it, and my mum said, nah, it's being a mum. And I think it's a bit of both, to be honest, because it's the most weirdest things that make me anxious. Driving the car, especially if I'm not driving, someone else is driving, I feel really anxious that something's going to happen and I don't like it, and I'm like, I'd really rather just drive the car myself. Any situations that put the boys in any possible danger, I feel anxious. So yeah, I guess it probably is being a mum, to be honest. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. What else? The reason I have my hair wet was because I wanted to show you I'm going through the peak of hair loss right now, and I've just washed it in the shower and so much came out, but I'm going to brush it now just to show you. If anyone else has some serious hair loss and they're thinking they're alone, fear not, because I have never experienced, I mean, I used to lose hair as it was all the time, just normally, but this is a whole nother level of hair loss. And you can kind of see, this is where I think it all comes out from, because it's just the sides of my hair. I've got quite a lot of hair anyway, but you can definitely tell when I tie it up, it's like, whoa, bye then. But let's see if you can tell. I knew today there wouldn't be as much as normal, but guys, that's just from one brush. Isn't that gross? And I'm telling you, when I actually wash it in the shower, I have to pick it all out because it will just block the drain. So that's lovely, but I wanted just to show the evidence of all the hair, because I know a lot of people have this and they freak out about it, but I know it's very common, and I'm waiting for all the little hairs that I'm going to eventually get starting to grow back. So yeah, that's another thing. And I think that is probably it. I'm going to show you now what has happened to my body postpartum. I was a bit nervous to do this, but I'm trying to be confident and just I know it's what people will like to see because every mum out there has to go through the same journey, and it's just nice. But obviously no comparisons. And I watched a lot of these videos because I was so afraid what was going to happen to me after having twins and my body stretching that much. And oh my goodness, it's very true. Everybody's different. Everybody's body works in different ways, in different speeds, and it's a very personal journey. So don't compare me to you, and I'm trying not to do the same when I watch other women, but I thought it would be nice to show you all exactly how I am looking and feeling right now. Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's anything else I haven't touched on. I do think I have this thing called how do you say it? The muscle separation in your stomach. Diastasis recti? I don't know what it's called. I'll put it up here, the name of it. But I'm pretty sure I have that, and I'm trying to find out how to make that better. I know there's some exercises that I can do, but I think if you do like sit-ups and things like that, it actually makes it worse. So I need to do some research about that and try and fix that problem. So yeah, I think that's everything, and I'll show you now exactly what's happened with my stomach postpartum. I will say, I know I did a video when I was like 35, 36 weeks pregnant. I think it was maybe the first video I ever did, and I showed you my belly and I had no stretch marks. That changed. I think the week after, it must have been 35 weeks that I showed you, because 36 weeks, bang. There they all came out of the blue, and I was gutted, I'll be honest, I really was. I was so consistent with my creams and lotions, and a lot of people say it's genetics, but I don't think my mum got any, so I'm not sure. Maybe it's from my dad's side, but yeah, I got stretch marks, and they were really bad. The first like couple of weeks after giving birth, I was like, oh my god. And I wish I'd taken some pictures back then, but I didn't. I think I was just all over the shop, and no way. So let me show you now. I'm trying to figure out where's best to put the camera. Let me take you over here because I feel like the light is really bad, and I'll show you here. So here is my stomach, 5 months postpartum. I'm not too worried about the amount of fat that's still there, but as you can see, the stretch marks are pretty bad, and I'm working on that. I'm still putting lotions on. There's a lot of extra skin. I'm hoping that you can see this clearly, but yeah, that's what I'm working with. One thing I did want to add, maybe somebody can help me with this, but my belly button and just underneath my belly button, it still feels really solid, and I'm not sure if that is that diastasis recti thing or what. And my belly button used to be like complete innie, and now it's like not. There's like this hardness still there, so I don't know what that is. I kept thinking that my uterus hasn't gone back, but apparently that happens within like 8 weeks, so it must have done. But I'm just wondering if that's gonna forever stay like that, or it's gonna go back to normal. So anyone knows, please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, my belly button never looked like that, so that's kind of strange. So yeah, it does bug me, and I look back at old pictures and I'm like, oh, I miss my flat stomach, and I miss the tight skin and everything else. But I had 2 boys, and it's worth the stretching of the skin, and I'm just going to work on it. It's only been 5 months, it took 9 months to make the both, so I've got a good 4 months anyway until I equal the amount of time it took them to grow. So I'm going to keep on going with some exercises. Hopefully I'm 3 days in and I'm doing it, so we'll see, and maybe by 9 months I'll show you a huge improvement, so fingers crossed. But yeah, that's it guys. I hope you all enjoyed this. And it gave you a little bit of a lowdown of how my postpartum journey so far has been. It's definitely not been easy, huge ups and downs, but when you look back at it all, you don't remember the downs, and it really has been incredible. Please, if you're watching this, do not compare yourself to me. Likewise, I'm trying not to do that. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye. One thing I did want to add, maybe somebody can help me with this, but my belly button and just underneath my belly button, it still feels really solid, and I'm not sure if that is that diastasis recti thing or what. And my belly button used to be like complete innie, and now it's like not. There's like this hardness still there, so I don't know what that is. I kept thinking that my uterus hasn't gone back, but apparently that happens within like 8 weeks, so it must have done. But I'm just wondering if that's gonna forever stay like that or it's gonna go back to normal. So anyone knows, please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, my belly button never looked like that, so that's kind of strange. But it doesn't bother me. Who is gonna see it anyways? So yeah. Back to what I was saying.